The average guy discovers porn when he's 13, right? Everyone's doing it, it's normal. He starts watching it, it's crazy. He does it for a few years, right? It's normalised, everyone does it. People even say it's good for you, right? It lowers prostate cancer, reduces anxiety, all that shit. I just swore in the first, it's fine. You know, he said, everyone's saying all these good things. I watch it, you should watch it too. But he realises, you know, it's gay, it's not right, right? When I'm watching some random people have sex on a screen, I have no idea who it is. There's a naked dude on screen. Like, this is weird. This is not normal behaviour, right? Why is everyone telling me it's normal, right? It's cope. So I'm going to try and quit because I feel like a loser. They try and rush to quit. They quit porn cold turkey after being addicted for years. They fail. They can't even get 3 days in. And they just give up. And they cope and say, well, porn's actually good for me anyway. I don't want prostate cancer. Why would I try and quit? Everyone does it. I'm not going to be weird, right? And they become addicted forever. Never get a proper girlfriend. Always feel like a loser. And they'll die with a porn addiction. I was the average guy. Except, in my story, I quit at 19. After 6 years, I quit at 19. So I'm not going to be addicted forever. And here's how I did it. How I quit faster and younger than 99% of the planet ever will. The first thing I did was I stopped rushing. That is the first mistake people make, okay? And I recognise this. It was the mistake I made. I tried to rush. I tried to quit porn in 2 weeks. Despite being addicted for, 4 or 5 years at the time. When I first started trying to quit. It's retarded, right? I'll put this into, a story for you. I was watching porn twice a day, let's say, when I tried to quit. That's 14 times in a week, right? Then I tried to get onto NoFap, which is when you quit cold turkey. So I went from 14 to 0 immediately. Not in the space of a few months, immediately, right? Maybe you don't think that's crazy. Imagine a skinny kid walking into the gym. On the first week, he lifts 1 kilogram. On the second week, his trainer says, all right, 50 kilograms, go. You'd think he's a fucking idiot, right? It's the same thing with this. He won't be able to lift the 50 kilogram weight. He'll injure himself or he'll feel demotivated and never come back, okay? He should have stayed to the 2 kilogram. No one's going to bully him and say, oh, you shouldn't do that. So I figured, well, if I watched it 14 times last week, if I'm not going to be a retard, why don't I just lift it 12 times this week? Sorry, not lift it. Why don't I just watch it 12 times this week? Then 10 times the week after that. Then 7 times. And within a couple months, I went from watching it twice a day to once a week, right? And it wasn't hard or easy. It was just simple. I was just watching it less each week. There's no rush. I was addicted for years. I tried to quit in 2 weeks. I don't know why I rushed. Because I didn't want this addiction. I didn't want to feel like a loser. But the reason everyone rushes is the reason nobody quits. Okay, you want a 6-pack in 2 weeks? Not happening. Unless you're already lean and pretty much have a 6-pack, you're not getting it in 2 weeks. Okay, that's why everyone gives up and never has it and hates their lives, right? It's not going to take 2 weeks. But if you just watch it less each week, it'll take a couple months, if that. After being addicted for years, it's pretty good. The reason it worked so well is because I could still watch porn, so I weren't going to be fucking depressed, right? I was getting benefits each week because the less I watched porn, the more benefits I got. Like confidence, anxiety gone, not feeling like a loser, actually loving myself for once. And I was making progress towards quitting every single week, which felt great. As opposed to being on NoFap when you make 0 progress for months, hate your life, give up, and then cope and say porn's good for you. That's why watching it less each week was so easy for me. The next thing I did was I watched more tame videos. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to tell you, or I'm not going to tell myself, never watch porn ever again. Okay, you can never watch a video ever again. Obviously, that's not what I did. I just watched it less each week. But in these videos, I did not cope and say, well, I'm watching it less each week. Let's watch the craziest extreme stuff I can find on this site to overstimulate my brain and it'll be fine because I'm still watching it less. No, that was a stupid thing I did, right? Because even though I was watching it less, I was watching more extreme stuff, okay? The less tame videos, imagine girl on girl is 1 out of 10 tame. I was watching more extreme videos than I usually would have because I needed the mental stimulation. And I figured, if I'm watching it less, it'll make a difference, all right? It don't cancel each other out, it'll be fine. Well, no, it still affects your brain even worse. The worse videos you watch, the more it fucks up your brain, the more regular life becomes boring, normal human activities you cannot do, you become more addicted to porn. And once I started watching more extreme videos, to counteract me watching it less, because I got bored sometimes, I ended up watching porn more, okay? Because I get more addicted. Throughout the day, I'd get more thoughts about it, and it was hard to quit, and I didn't. So, the more tame videos I watched, the better, okay? I didn't go straight from watching extreme stuff to just Instagram reels. I tapered it down again, right? So I went from watching extreme stuff to less extreme, to normal videos, to girl on girl, to just a girl, to Instagram reels, to a picture. Watching a picture compared to, I don't even know, I didn't watch this, like 10 guys in it, whatever, right? It's so much better, okay? The less mental stimulation is great, okay? It's not good for you, but it's a lot better than this. You know, you don't feel like as much of a loser, a cuck, a weirdo, a gooner, whatever you want to call it. You don't become as addicted. Because when you finish with this, you don't think, wow, that was so good. I can't wait for half an hour and I'll do it again. You're like, a bit boring, but it's done now. I have no interest in doing it. Okay, because that was so much better. And I realised that than watching the extreme stuff that most people watch today. Now, the final thing I did was I made my sessions as fast as possible. I made it a game. Again, I could have coped, and I did cope, and thinking, you know, all right, I'm watching porn 3 times this week. That's nothing. 5 times last week, 3 times this week. Each time I watch it, I'll watch it for an hour. I usually only watch it for 20 minutes, but I watch it for an hour each time because I'm still watching it less. Again, this makes you more addicted. Okay, I shouldn't just cope. No one should just cope and say, well, I'm watching it less, so I'll watch the duration for longer. I'll have a goonathon, whatever the fuck people call it, right? Stay up all night watching it, and it will still only be 1 relapse. It might be 3 hours long, but it's still only 1, so that's all I care about. Again, it made me more addicted. Feel like a loser, most importantly. Wasted time. I was sleep deprived. I was thinking about porn throughout the day more and more, and I failed. If I told myself I'm watching porn 3 times this week, I'd watch it for 3 hours one session, and then I'd watch it again the same day because it's all in my head. Okay, and I'd fail that week, and I feel like a loser, and I'll restart again because I think I just give up. Okay, because I tried to make my sessions longer instead of making it boring though and being like, right, just watch it for 30 seconds and it's done. I told myself, make it a game. Right, last week you watched it in 5 minutes, whatever, or a few days ago. Watch it in 4 minutes 30. Just try and get your new low score each week, and it becomes a game. Instead of saying, all right, well, just watch it as fast as you can and get it done with. I was like, all right, I need a bit more exciting than that. Make it a game. How fast can I do it? With the most tame video possible. And yeah, that's how I got rid of my addiction. I was watching it less, watching more tame videos, and watching it for the duration for a lot less time, trying to get a high score or a low score. And that's made it a lot more fun. I quit faster than 99% of the planet ever will. Most never will. Most will always be addicted and losers and never get wives or girlfriends. I quit at 19. So yeah, if this helped, subscribe. It's free and you can always change your mind later, and goodbye. By the way, no pressure, but under this video is my paid porn quitting secrets course. It just helps you quit porn faster, supports me, so once you feel like you trust me enough, you can check it out. There's a massive discount going on right now, so if you're interested, I'd do it now. And once you buy it, by the way, I'm going to give you a free bonus section which teaches you how to speak to girls, which becomes a lot easier when you quit porn.